showtime! It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Okay, people, it's showtime!
All right, everybody, it's showtime.
All right, everybody, it's showtime.
Now take your position. It's showtime.
Hey, heads up, everybody! It's showtime!
Oh, it's time!
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
Here we go, showtime.
Okay, fellas. Showtime.
Okay, it's showtime!
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.
Greetings, true believers. Welcome back into the fastest show in sports. I am the host and ringmaster, Ed Berliner. He is my compatriot from all those wonderful places such as the New York Times, ESPN, the Washington Post. He is Mike Wise. Is there anything I'm missing in there other than, a raconteur, casino maven or something? Am I missing anything in there when I do that introduction?
I mean, the Sacramento Union and the Sanger Herald, a little podunk town in Central California. That's where I started my newspaper career. But yeah, there's a lot of stops in between. Variety is the spice of life, Edward. You know that.
I started at a little radio station in Central Florida whose name I will never ever repeat once again because I will only tell you this. I was hired, my first job in radio, I was hired as the morning DJ at a small music station in Central Florida. I came in, I had everything ready to go. I lasted less than 2 months and I was fired.
Oh, no.
No, because I came in and it was a little sleepy radio station in a little sleepy town at that time in Central Florida. And I came in top 40 rock jock and I had all kinds of ideas. Well, it turns out that the gentleman and his wife who owned the radio station, they were born again Christians and they did not appreciate my take on rock and roll at all.
Yeah, that's called. You might have talked to your agent before you took that one, Ed.
Yeah, hey, it would have been nice, but I had no agent.
Yeah. How long? Like, this will tell you how old we are. How much did that job pay you per week?
Oh, I don't even remember.
The Sanger Herald. The Sanger Herald. It was a weekly newspaper, 30 miles outside of Fresno State, where I went to college. Sanger Herald, $250 a week. So I was making $12,000 a year, and I was happy, Ed.
I might have been. Come to think of it, I might have been there too for maybe about $150, $200 a week, something like that. It wasn't a lot of money, but I had great fun. And then after that, they fired me after only 2 months. I moved over to another top 40 station, a much bigger station in Daytona Beach, where I was the weekend guy there, and I was the fill-in guy, and I rocked, and I did some stuff that nobody got away with back then, but I did, and the program director loved it. So what I got fired for at the one station, the PD at the real station, he said, keep doing it. It's great.
Keep doing it. We love you. Ratings are good.
Fun. So before we begin, we want to take a couple of moments out here. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there, but
sure.
Since we last spoke, we have observed the remembrance of 9/11. Mike and I, both there during the time. Everybody was. Most of us were, at least. We have a lot of memories, friends, family, people that we remember from that time. But in order to just basically do something for them and for us here at the beginning, I would like everybody to join us as we celebrate just a few moments of silence and remember the friends, the families, the people, the ones we never knew. But remember back to 24 years ago in a moment of silence. From the World Trade Center to the Pentagon and to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, we remember and we'll never forget. And we thank everybody for giving us those couple of minutes to mention it here. Okay.
We'll at some point we'll get into stories in another year, but
You
I
know,
was feeling so numb yesterday. I got to be honest, because of the shooting of Charlie Kirk and like just the ugliness on both sides behind it. And September 11th rolls around. I always take a couple moments to reflect, and I couldn't feel anything. And I was about to go to bed, and some woman, she's an English professor. She's a writing professor at American University. She's in the New York Times. A lot of her name's Rachel Louise Snyder. She posted this dialogue between one of the passengers on Flight 93, Tim Beeman, and
it was
the
Beamer,
woman
I think.
Beamer
Yeah.
and the GTE woman, the operator who patched him through the FBI at some point. But their conversation, and oh my God, by the time I got to the end of it, I was, like he's talking about saying a prayer with her because he knows he's going down, and they're gonna rush the terrorists. And it's just the whole thing just got me right in the thick of my throat, and I just started bawling. And but it felt so real in that moment that I was like, my God, what that guy felt at that time. And I guess I wasn't a dad until a good 9 years later, but now that I got kids, and him telling him to say, look, my wife, I've been married to her 10 years, just sell her. I love her. Goodbye. And, we're about to have our third child, and we got two already. Oh my, and the woman on the phone, the GTE operator, Lisa, who wrote down all these notes and recreated the conversation, basically is like choking up herself. And the whole thing was just like
Yeah.
the terror, the drama, the fact that this guy was at the end, he and these other people were American heroes because they helped, they helped try to get control of the train, a plane that went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, that was bound for the White House or the Capitol. They probably saved, dozens of lives.
They probably saved hundreds of lives at least. And
Yeah.
certainly what it would have meant to the country to have the White House or the Capitol building struck. I will tell you this, I have a number of, and I'll do this briefly, I have a number of first and second degrees of separation for 9/11. And I grew up in the city, and I remember the World Trade Center very well for a number of reasons. Every year since then, I have watched all of the various documentaries. And there have been a number that have started over the years and then have been produced, and different ones. I've always spent the day with at least 2 or 3 hours watching the History Channel, watching the Military Channel, watching A&E, whatever it is that has them. And this is the first year that I didn't do it. I purposely stayed away because I needed a break from all of the memories that always flood on 9/11. And and it really wasn't anything else that's going on in the country. It wasn't as if anything else affected this. I had made this decision long before the day actually arrived, that I was simply not going to go through it. And I went about my day, I went about everything. I got a call from a friend of mine who was there with me on the morning of 9/11. And back in 2001, I was coming off knee surgery, and she was taking care of me and helping me get through the day because I couldn't walk. I was basically laid up on the couch for the day. And we had a conversation of about a half an hour. We talk every year on 9/11. And we talked a little bit about it, but it's more or less a catch-up for us. How you doing? How's everything? And I stayed away from it. And of course, on social media, I saw a lot of it. And the only thing I posted on my Facebook page was about the dogs, the rescue dogs, who basically helped try to save people. Because the dogs are important to me, and the canines, and I'm an animal lover itself. But I didn't do anything else. And I don't regret it. I needed the break. I remembered internally. And I think that even to this day, 24 years later, I think the people who were affected would say, move on. Move on with your life. So I felt that need to walk away.
I feel everybody experiences that stuff differently. That whole Jim Valvano thing, every day, you should spend one moment, like a moment to cry, a moment to laugh, a moment to think. That's ideal, and I wish I could do it. But there's some days, I do need to cry. It's okay, man. Let it out, and then go on with your life.
Yeah, it's
And
just
for me, September 11th is always that day. But yeah, there's a heaviness. There's a heaviness in our country now that's just you can't even. You cut it so thick with a knife. I mean, I was thinking of not doing this today, and you said, let's just
no.
do something, give them something different because
Let's do it.
let's, like,
Let's
yeah,
get back on track. We have to move forward as a country. We have to.
yeah.
We cannot wallow in the mess on a daily basis. We took time. We remembered the important thing about this time in our lives. So, clear the decks. Move on.
All right.
Let's have
do
some
it.
fun, and let's see if we can piss some people off, which will be incredibly easy for us because it seems, as I read a lot of our social media, we do manage to piss a lot of people off, but they're watching and they're agreeing, and that's the most important thing. Okay, moving on. College
Even if
sports.
even if they're not agreeing, I appreciate the feedback.
There you go. College sports and gambling, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, we're back here again to college basketball, and they're busting 3 players. Now, for those of you who are not aware of all this, let's take you back to February of this year, February 2025, and this is where the entire investigation idea started to happen and where we started to hear a little bit about what was going on. And everybody, of course, was completely shocked.
That hurts Fresno. It hurts our look, what we are. So yeah, that's brutal.
Fresno State fans are reeling with Bulldog sports under a cloud of controversy. In a statement, Fresno State Athletics say Jalen Weaver and Zayon Collins were withheld from competition as the university reviews an eligibility matter. Action News has learned that the matter involves accusations that the players had been gambling on their own games. Action News has also learned the university was alerted to the gambling via a tip, which launched an internal investigation, which has now been turned over to the NCAA.
I mean, it affects everything top down. This definitely affects the players itself as a personal accountability thing, but it definitely goes bigger into the program. This definitely stains our program.
Fresno State sports fan Brandon Lara says he noticed something was off with the team when he attended 3 games this season.
I've gone to a couple games, and it's like we're right there, we're going to win, and then all of a sudden we lose in overtime multiple times when it's right there. You could see that they could win.
A third, now former Bulldog, Michael Robinson, is also being investigated for sports gambling. He's been off the roster since January.
We take pride in the Valley to really root them on, and it's all about the V and everything, and to see that's possibly going on, very disappointing.
My beloved Bulldogs. This is my alma mater, damn it. Yes, I only went there 2 years. Yes, I got a Bachelor of Arts in journalism, and it took me 6 years to get out of college. But damn it, the Bulldogs. I spent 3 years of my life in Fresno in that Central Valley, and they are just rabid sports fans. Of course, you remember they got the all-time crook of college basketball to work there at one point. Fresno native Jerry Tarkanian, late of UNLV at that point. But the bottom line is, I was going to be all excited for these guys, and I saw them dunking, and then you're telling me they threw games. They lost in overtime. They were throwing games.
And now the NCAA got involved after all that. Michael Robinson, Steven Vasquez, Jalen Weaver, and of course there's a Fresno State and a San Jose State connection to all this. They have all been banned for life from ever being involved in any NCAA sport because, and here's how really good these masterminds were, Mike. They were so good at it, so stealthy at hiding it. All people had to do and the investigators had to do was go to their phones. They were texting back and forth to each other about what they were going to do and how they were going to fix the games. These geniuses, these absolutely incredible gambling wackos out here. But this is odd. Why? There's no shock involved in here at all. College basketball players gambling. First of all, basketball players themselves and college basketball players are, in my opinion, the ones who are most likely to do this because they just don't hold the respect for the game, the institution, the people that are involved, and the chance that they have. I think out of all the sports, it's more likely that college basketball players and even NBA players, but college basketball players are going to be involved. It's the easiest game to fix, Mike.
I don't think it has anything to do with all the things you're speaking of, and they don't
Why
value.
not?
No. But to me, it's about you know, you didn't get any NIL money. You weren't that good, but you did get kind of a scholarship, and you're like all these other people are walking around with money, and you're going, well, this is a way in which now that betting is so prevalent, and maybe they're not going to see that. The worst thing is these prop bets. All of a sudden, Wise is over under for 10 points and 5 rebounds, and I get to 6 rebounds and 4 points, and I pull myself out because I got a nagging knee injury,
right?
And I basically made tons of people that took the under on me in that prop bet. That's the person that's how these guys get found out.
But that's the point, Mike. That's the point.
It's
awful. You even brought it up. You said we're not getting our
like,
NIL money, so we got to make money. Well, I'm making money for the gamblers out there, so I may as well go ahead and take advantage of it. It's easy. College basketball is the easiest sport in the world to fix, and these guys know it. And you've even got the amateur investigator there who basically said, well, I was watching the games and I could tell we were really in the games, and then we got to overtime and we didn't win the games at all. It's odd that on the day that they started that story came out in February, it was a night where Fresno State lost to Air Force in overtime. They lost on that very day that this report came out. It's easy to do. These guys don't give a shit about college basketball. They don't give a crap about the team. They don't care about their teammates. They don't care about the school. They don't care about the opportunity they've been given. The gambling is easy. So they're going to go out and just fix the games. And
it's disturbing, but it's also...
something. I'm not even.
But there's a grand hypocrisy brought on by,
of course,
college. The NCAA is in bed with draft, like some of these companies. There are odds posted on every game. There are prop bets on every game.
With the blessing of the NCAA, with the blessing of the college conferences, with the blessing of the colleges themselves, with the blessing of the television networks and the internet platforms that carry it. They're all part of it, Mike. It's a rampant conspiracy here just for greed.
You know what I'm going to do once, Ed? Because I love the way you say my name. It reminds me of The Godfather when Fredo Mike walks in the hotel room in Vegas, and Fredo goes, "You don't talk to a man like that, like Mike. You don't talk to Mo Green like a man like that." It just sounds like you're about ready to say that. It's exciting, but go ahead.
You don't talk to Mike Wise like that. You don't talk to a man of that stature.
But I don't. I think it's wrong. I think it's a bit, but we're powerless to do it, and I think I think that I would be more scared of the Fresno States than I would the Kansases or the Dukes or the teams that actually have a shot at the national title, or a lock for the tournament, because it's the smaller schools that are have odds that you sort of say, okay, we're going to finish 500 anyway. All you got to do is if you're a mob gambler, or even a small time gambler, you get two kids to buy in, the best 2 kids on a team,
which is easy,
that play the most minutes. You have a good chance of altering that game if you get 2 of the it's like the Blue Chips movie.
But
you
your point's
Shaq
well taken, Mike. It happens
What?
at the smaller schools. It likely will not happen at the Kansas or the UCLA or the Miami or the Georgetown side of things, because they are basically much more stringent in what they look out for there. But the players there,
and they pay real NIL money.
Even before they paid real NIL money, we're talking about schools where there's an honor, there's a privilege, there's these young men are getting a chance to basically play a game that's going to rise them to new heights, where they can make money, where they can take a chance at the NBA, where they can do all this. These smaller schools and a lot of these scrub players that are at the bottom, they don't give a shit about all that. You got 3 guys here who basically were involved in nothing more than money. They're greedy, and they're entitled.
Ed, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna go the other side. Why shouldn't they? All they know from their coaches, from their schools that sign up with whatever league is going to give them the best TV money deal. All they know is mercenary life of the school presidents and their coaches. They'll go to the
Yep.
highest bidder. They'll go to the high. The ACC in basketball had a wonderful thing. You had Tobacco Road, NC State, Duke, Carolina, all these schools. Maryland was in there, all these schools. And then all of a sudden, the Big Ten comes along and says, Maryland, come on over here, and we're going to give you guys some TV money that you can't refuse. And it ruins, storied rivalries over the years to this day.
I
Yes,
can't
the school
disagree.
is richer. It's richer. They probably put a new wing on the business school, but they ruined the fan experience for so many people. And you look at what happened to the Pac-12 and its breakup, and all of a sudden, people, Penn State is going to play USC in a league game. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, that's
The
the
whole
whole
thing.
dichotomy that's at work here is because you have the colleges themselves are going, oh, this is terrible. We
That's what
caught
I'm
players that
saying.
are cheating this. You did it. You did it. The
Everybody's a
colleges
mercenary.
did it. The conferences did it. The
So you
networks did
agree
it.
with me?
You're the ones. Yes, I agree with you completely. They're the ones who basically, it's an oddity there. There you go. Mark this one down. We'll put the day down here that we both agree. The colleges are the reason why this has happened because of their innate greed. They want more money. Look, and we're going to get to the point eventually where there's going to be a super conference in college football. There's eventually going to be a super conference, maybe even in college basketball.
Yeah.
And why? Because it's more money. You clowns did this. Every university president, every athletic director, everybody in charge of a network conference contract, you did this. These guys cheat because you made it easy for them. It's your fault. You got in bed with the gamblers, and now you're never going to get out of bed with them. It's going to be there for the rest of all time. So we can't. Mike, I love how some people are going, I'm shocked. There's guys basically fixing the games of college basketball. I got news for you. If you think these three guys are the only ones fixing a game, you're insane. You need a lobotomy because there's more people out there doing it than you think, and the NCAA can't keep up with it because it's going on so thick thanks to these gamblers.
I'm just upset that my alma mater is not. The kids at my alma mater couldn't cheat without being caught so ridiculous. It just shows you the level of education there has slipped since I graduated. The fact that they had all this on their phones, Ed. It's very depressing. But go ahead.
Well, that's another part of it too. I mean, everybody, it's easy. I mean, thanks to the schools that have basically opened the gates on all this, it's easy to get in there. The technology has made it terribly easy to get on your phones and basically make the prop bet, make the bet through somebody else and get away with it. Mike, I wouldn't be shocked if there's at least a small percentage, a couple of percentage of games, maybe a few during every regular season in college basketball that are in some way, shape, or form fixed. Somebody's gambling on it somewhere. The players are doing this through their friends and their families, their girlfriends and such. They're betting for them. It's the same thing. But if you want to solve this, I'll give you the way to solve this right now. Easy, okay? At least to start. What they did here was they took all three of these players that were involved, and one of them hadn't been on a roster since January. I think that was the kid Robinson. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay? The second, the instant you catch this, you bounce them out of the school immediately. Then you go to the feds, and you get the feds involved in this, and you find out not only a way to kick them out of the sport, but a way to also get them involved if there's any federal gambling charges. You have to immediately cut the cord. So, and here's what you do. You come up to every single player in every single college sport. You start the year. Hi, guys. Welcome in. Just a reminder. If you gamble, if we catch you, if you break the rules, if you break the laws, you're out. There's no suspension. There's no second chance. You're out. And the first thing we're going to do is find out if the authorities have any sort of problems with you and if there's any sort of ways in here to adjudicate anything that's done illegally. We're going after you. Start there. But they won't do it, Mike.
I don't know. That's not really I don't know. That's a threat. And, okay, you get thrown out of school for smoking dope, or you get thrown out of school for a lot of things. You know what I would do, Ed? I would literally take my best players and say, look, I know you guys are probably going to gamble, but I can't have you betting against yourselves, because that's going to affect my job. I'm going to give you money to put on you, my team. And I want you to gamble on us and to take the over and for us to win.
That. Come on.
And then you can't, but why not, Ed? Why not?
Because it'll only open the way up for another form of gambling. If you're betting on yourself, then eventually you know they're going to get greedy and they're going to bet against you.
Oh, I still like it though. It's a way to make some ancillary income on the side if you're a coach.
Okay, but here's the next thing. The coaches are the ones who are supposed to be in charge of these programs and in charge of whatever, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, hockey, makes no difference. Coach is supposed to be the one, the buck stops there. Why not bring the coaches in on this? If you can't control this team and if you can't keep your players from gambling, maybe we ought to fire you. Maybe we ought to take some action against you. But then the coaches are going to raise their hands and go, come on, you want me to do all this and still coach a team and win games? I can't do all this. So you're stuck. But you got to make somebody responsible, Mike.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. Most coaches in college basketball have more issues than a bond measure, and their baggage can't fit in the overhead compartment of an airplane. So I don't look at them as moral compasses. Let's be honest. They did anything they could to get the recruit on their roster that they have.
Well, that's a good point, because the college
sports
coaches
is
themselves...
everybody in college sports is a mercenary. I don't think gambling should be part of that business, but unfortunately it is. And you're right. There has to be a stiffer penalty, other than you're off the team or you're simply like, you're suspended for life in the NCAA. It doesn't mean you can't go and play in NAIA.
You can go to Greece.
You go to Greece, you can play in NAIA, you could get yourself back into professional basketball if you're that good, but stop with the idea that somehow, like, who cares about the NCAA? It's just it's a governing body that means nothing anymore.
Well, it's the only governing body that's involved in this. I mean, it was reported to them because they still have the oversight of all this. So,
it's a monopoly, and it should be broken up by the government.
I couldn't agree more. It's going to be broken up eventually, because when you have a school like Ohio State that eventually is going to start pulling rank on everybody, and they're going to say we can make more money being in a super conference or going on our own, they're going to do it because they're going to make money. So the conferences then will eventually start to erode, and then the NCAA, it becomes, maybe that's the key. Just make it a pro sport.
Yeah,
make it a pro sport.
Well, NAIL
which
is supposed
it technically
to do that,
is.
But NAIL is anyway. Go ahead.
All right, moving on. More basketball. It is fascinating to watch this whole deal that's going on with Kawhi Leonard, and played for the Toronto Raptors.
Kawhi. Let's say his name right.
Kawhi. Okay. Thank you very much. It is fascinating to watch what is happening with Kawhi Leonard and how he managed to get himself out of Toronto, and then how he managed to get himself into a deal with the Clippers, and how he managed, of course, to work this all out so he could make more money without having to do anything. I want to begin with, and if anybody's not aware, Kawhi Leonard got out of Toronto by making contract demands, which absolutely positively are either, you go to yourself, how the hell can he do this? But the imagination factor here of he and his agent to do this, to get him out of Toronto, was absolutely brilliant.
I don't think Kawhi cares at all. He was at the U.S. Open over the weekend.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about anything. No one's taking money away from him.
Somebody tried to give him money the way he wanted to. So what's he going to say, no?
No. Ballmer's going to take a hit.
Yeah.
He's taking a hit. The Clippers are going to take a hit. But the Star wrote that this was Kawhi Leonard's camp's demands for the Raptors in 19. A trade for Paul George. We were all aware of that.
Yeah.
Now, again, why Paul George had to be the guy, again, speaks to why athletes cannot be involved in management, because they have no idea what they're doing.
No.
None. Yeah. Paul George is a really talented player, never won anything, went to L.A., did nothing.
But are they best friends or something that
They're
I'm
both
missing?
from L.A. They grew up playing in L.A.
Yeah.
I think they were close enough. I don't know if they were best friends, but both L.A. guys both grew up playing against each other. Connections, maybe the same agent. I don't know exactly how deep it went, but that became clearly a part of Kawhi's world. For whatever reason, I need Paul George playing with me.
Right.
An extra $10 million in sponsorship income, bluntly stating, quote, "We don't want to do anything," quote. So
nothing for it. Just put 10 sheets in our pocket.
Yes.
That's a tree planting.
Find a tree planting company and give me $10 million.
Christie Pitts. That's what it was.
More or less.
I know it's desperation, and we talked about these negotiations, but as soon as I read that language, I'm gone.
And I think that's what Masai and company sniffed out. They said, this guy's not serious. Or Ballmer came over the top. He asked for 10 from the Raptors. Clearly, he asked for 28.
Yeah.
Or more, 40, 50 million.
Ballmer said,
from the Clippers, and Ballmer said, I don't care.
28 cash in your jeans.
Absolutely.
Have Uncle Dennis pick it up.
This is, I think, the bombshell
of any negotiation.
Negotiation. And I have so much respect for it. Because if you're going to get crazy, and you're in a room with Masai, and you're in a room with Larry Tannenbaum, you might as well get crazy.
Yeah.
Kawhi asked for partial ownership of the Maple Leafs. Do you know how insane that ask is? I'll take some of the hockey team, too. That seems to be popular up here.
Yeah.
Give me a piece of the pot.
Mike, it's brilliant from an agent perspective more than anything else, because they're not going to go for the deal. They make such outrageous demands that Kawhi knew that he was going to get out of Toronto. He didn't want to play there.
Well, wait. Was Kawhi? Let's go back. Was Kawhi Leonard a free agent after that year?
I don't know.
If he was, then who? They didn't have any contractual rights to him. He didn't want to be in Toronto. He was, he went there. He won a championship for him. I hate to say it, TSN guys, Canadian sports journalism guys, but be happy that a real American basketball player gave you a title. You Canucks, you Great White North losers.
Also, be happy that Kawhi Leonard got out because you didn't have to.
He should have got a piece of Molson beer too. He should have got a piece of Molson beer. All right.
So then he's out. He's with the Clippers, and then this breaks.
A stunning development and explosive allegations out of the NBA today involving the Clippers, alleging that they paid Kawhi Leonard $28 million outside of the league's salary cap. Podcaster Pablo Torre broke the allegations, reporting today that internal documents suggest the Clippers orchestrated a so-called no-show job that funneled that $28 million to Leonard through Aspiration. Aspiration is a now bankrupt tree planting company with financial ties to team owner Steve Ballmer. Now, according to an unnamed former employee, those payments were designed to circumvent the league's 2023 collective bargaining agreement. It is a serious violation, punishable by fines, forfeiture of draft picks, along with potentially voiding any player contract and a suspension for any team personnel involved in such a violation. We should clarify, for now, the NBA has not announced any formal investigation, but given the allegations now being public, it could be forced to act. The Clippers today responding, saying, quote, neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration, adding that the team ended its relationship with Aspiration roughly 3 years ago. Now, Leonard, who is currently 34, is now under contract through the 2026-2027 season as part of a 3-year, $153 million deal.
Okay,
Mike?
so I look. Pablo obviously got some good documents on this. And
Well, I'll have those in just a minute because let's go ahead and talk about this. But I can show you exactly what Pablo's got. Go ahead.
So unless the Clippers are saying Ballmer's excuse is that he was fleeced by this Aspiration company and its owner, and he's unless the Clippers produce a digital paper trail that exonerates them, yeah, they should lose a draft pick. They should lose. They
lose
should,
more than that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no death penalty in the NBA, and
Well,
and
maybe
there's
we
been
have
a
to
lot
have
more.
one.
There's circumvention all the time in professional sports in different ways. They get creative, but yeah, if he's doing a no-show job and it's because it's to get this extra chunk of change so he can go there. Yeah, I'm sure owner Adam Silver's going to throw the book at him.
Well, but see, that's a good. Well, let's stop there for a second. Then, when you talk about Adam Silver throwing the book at Ballmer and the Clippers, I don't think he will, because I don't think he has the guts to do it. Because the Clippers are still an organization that is part of the NBA, makes money for them. At the end of the day, the commissioner still basically answers to the owners at this point. What's he going to do? If you take something like this, yeah, I agree with you. There should be something along the lines of a death penalty to where you're out. Maybe you can't win a title for a year. Maybe you get rid of all that. I don't know what it is. But you have to do something here, Mike.
Yeah, well, I think Adam Silver, whom I know personally and have known for a long time, is, he's about integrity of the league. He's about all those things.
Yes.
But he's also, as you said, his bosses are the owners.
Right.
And if the other 29 teams, or how many ever other teams there are in the NBA, communicate to him like, hey, this guy went over and aboard, like they did with Donald Sterling to get the racist out of there. That was the players association and the players really forced that move. Adam Silver wanted to do it, but it was exacerbated by, this wasn't going to be good business for them. The players could strike if they didn't get rid of Sterling. I think that the owners are going to raise hell over this if they haven't already, and they're probably going to go, we've tried some underhanded crap, but this is beyond the pale.
Well, but see, that's where it's going to be. Adam Silver can say all he wants about what my punishment levels are and what I can do, but he's still going to be run by the owners themselves, who are going to tell him one way or another, whether it's publicly or whether it's privately, of what to do about Ballmer. Look, Ballmer certainly may have some friends among the other owners, and they're going to say they want to punish him. But if you set a precedent for something like this, there's going to be a couple of owners out there who might say, well, I got to be very careful because I don't want something to snap back at us later down the road if something goes on and there's some extra going on. But at the same breath, what is that death penalty? A couple of draft picks? Big deal. Okay, you can still go out and you can spend free agent money. Do you take a couple of draft picks away and then you cut their salary cap down to where the cap is maybe much less? I don't know what the cap is right now in the NBA. Yeah, but let's say the cap is $100 million. You then tell the Clippers for the next 5 years, your cap is $60 million. See, that's the other thing here, Mike. If you're going to punish somebody, you can't just do it for a season or two. You gotta come up with something which bags somebody so bad that nobody will ever think about doing this ever again.
Here you go. 2 first-round draft picks the next 2 years, 3 years of if the salary cap were 100 million, 72 million. You 28 million, you're docked. The 28 million that you circumvent the cap with, you're docked for 3 years. It irrevocably changes the future of your franchise, what it can spend, what it can do. And I think that would be a detriment. That would be a way of a punitive measure that would make Steve Ballmer and the other owners for that matter go, Jesus, I'm not going to do that again.
And you're right, because if you think about it then, even though you may not have a couple of draft picks and your cap is cut, you're going to have a lot of players who don't want to come play for you, veteran players who might sign with you down the road, who you can say, well, we can sign this guy and this guy and this guy, and we can help rebuild quickly. Well, this guy and this guy and this guy don't want to come play for you because they know you're not going to win a championship, you're not going to contend for one, and they don't want to be on board a sinking ship.
Yeah.
But then again, the fans are the ones who are also going to take a hit here because the fans are going to basically say, shit, we got no chance for the next 5-6 years. What am I spending money for?
Billy Crystal would be like, the number one Clipper fan would be like, Jesus, I'm going to die and this team will not have won a title while I'm here. And the Clippers are going to go back to being the Clippers of old. That would be sad for everyone. But you know what?
Tough.
Hey, consequences come with actions.
I want to bring this up, too, because what you mentioned in Pablo Torre, and I have to give him credit where credit is due. Wherever his sources are and whatever he's doing, he's nailing this thing to the wall. And I'm, as somebody who's done his own investigating over the years, I'm impressed with what he has done and the documents that he's gotten. Here's just an example, and this is what Pablo revealed on his show. And they found the smoking gun. Without question, this basically puts Ballmer and the Clippers right in the crosshairs.
Now, one central question in these allegations has been, since the company Aspiration was struggling financially, how were they paying Kawhi Leonard this alleged large sum? Well, Pablo Torre, he had new information on his podcast, which released Thursday morning.
Something happened just 9 days before the wire out to Kawhi's KL2 Aspire LLC. For $1.75 million on December 15th.
On December 6th of 2022, a wire in from DEA 88 Investments in the amount of $1,999,999.59.
According to my 7 sources, as well as Aspiration's internal cash forecast for sponsorship payments, which is a spreadsheet I obtained. One of the company's absolute top priorities, despite the total financial show enveloping this company, was simple. Hey, KL2 Aspire LLC. According to this Green Bank's Silicon Valley bank statements, please tell us when exactly Aspiration finally does wire their months late second payment to Kawhi Leonard.
December 15th of 2022.
On December 6th of 2022, a wire in from DEA 88 Investments.
I said to myself, should probably look up the registered agent on file, and it turned out to be a man named Dennis. Not Uncle Dennis. Dennis J. Wong, our different Dennis, is the vice chairman of the Los Angeles Clippers.
End of story.
Beautiful.
Ballmer's dead.
So here's the deal. So one, sports journalism is not dead. We
Thank
can say
goodness.
that now. And two, God bless Pablo Torre for continuing to dig. The greatest thing in the world you can get, and I've been on these stories before, especially when Pat Riley was leaving the Knicks years ago. When you get documents that nobody else has, people start talking to you because they want to know what you have. You're no longer just a player. You're no longer the reporter that's trying to find out stuff. You're the reporter that has information that they want to know what it is, and they all of a sudden they start telling you what's and then who to talk to. So I think this is great. I hope that this all holds up, and I hope that the Clippers are just massively punished for this.
Well, that's
because
just it. Ballmer's toast now, because they actually have somebody right in his front office, a right-hand man, one of his own governors, is shoveling $2 million into a bank account so that Kawhi can get his $1.75 million. Does it before it's all done. They have the paper trail now that's set. And Ballmer has gone out in front of everybody and said, I didn't know anything about it. We absolutely, positively, without question, we have not broken the rules whatsoever. Hey, Steve, you better get a really good lawyer and start to work here, because it looks like they got you by the balls.
And you know how this is going down, right? Old Dennis Wong is going to become a fall guy. Somebody's going to become a fall guy in the organization. Sure. He'll still get fined, but he'll have no, what do you call it? No culpability.
Yeah.
No culpability. He'll be like willful. He'll be like ignorant, but not willful. He'll just be ignorant because there was nothing that went back to him. That's the only way he's getting out of it.
Yeah,
if there's
right.
any
So
paper
are you going to tell me?
If there's any paper trail back to him, I mean, he could be censured. He might, I don't think he'll be told to sell the team, but certainly he'll be punished in ways that you could never imagine.
You're going to tell me, Steve Ballmer, you're going to look us right in the eye and say that a guy who is right there, a part of your ownership group, one of your governors, basically is a co-owner of the team, is shoveling $2 million for Kawhi Leonard to get paid, and you didn't know about it? Come on.
Yeah, but his lawyer's doing what his lawyer's doing what I tell my 10-year-old Elliot every time he gets out of the bathroom now. I said, when your mom says, who peed on the toilet seat, I want you to deny. Tell her you put it up.
Well, you know that's what they're going to do, and he's doing it the right
tell her
thing.
you left it. Don't tell her you left it down. Deny.
Well, that's all he's going to do, but the unfortunate thing about it for Ballmer's side is they got him. I mean, thanks to this, they got him, and Silver can't ignore this.
If they don't have him, if they don't have him, they certainly have the organization.
Well, they got Wong in the organization. So if they got the organization, wouldn't you agree then that they got Ballmer?
Yes. Yeah, he might not suffer as much personally. I mean, this is a billionaire several times over, a .com billionaire from back in the day. So he's going to be doing fine, but his team is going to be screwed, and his team is that's his passion right now. He's that excitable fan like Mark Cuban was years ago. Gets up, does the whole fist, goofy white guy fist pump with the teeth over. Oh yeah, that's his baby, and it'll kill him. It'll literally kill him. I would go see my cardiologist after that came down.
Maybe the NBA has now got to come out with some kind of new rules, regulations, whatever, that if you're an owner of the franchise and if you do something that is detrimental to the franchise, detrimental to the league, and in many ways detrimental to the fans, because they're the ones paying the freight, no matter how you look at it, going after and basically buying the sponsors' goods, watching it on television, paying the money on cable, whatever it is, buying the tickets. They're the ones who are basically funding all this. That there has to be some kind of retribution here against the owner. Now, you said those words. That I don't think they're going to make him sell the team, but
no, but
maybe they should.
You know, what's sad is you get all that extra salary cap money to work with, and you're Ty Lue, and you still can't get him to the second round or the third round of the playoffs. What's wrong with you? All right, let's go. Let's move on.
Why? This is all too good. I want to get these guys punished, man. All right, moving on. National Football League coming up this week. We are involved once again in the most illogical manner of picking games possible. Mike and I have decided that this season we are not going to do gambling odds. We are not going to do injury reports. We are not going to do any of the things that everybody else does. Why? Because we're different and we're better. Because after that first week, we actually did very good. I came up 9-6. Mike came up 8-7 without using one logical thing to pick games. And as a matter of fact, on the Thursday game that we just passed, we came up again. Packers 27, Commanders 18. I got to tell you, Mike, I thought there was a chance there that the Commanders were going to ruin it.
Wait, you didn't pick the Packers. You picked
Yes,
the
I
Commanders
did.
too.
Yes, I did.
I'm going to go back to the show. I'm going to go back to the show and look at it because okay, all right. I'll say you did. All right, let's go. Let's get these.
I had it down on the sheet that I picked it. So yeah, I picked the Packers, even though because Aaron Rodgers isn't there. And as a matter of fact, I remember picking the Packers because I said it's because of the sausage and because of my giving up a pork, Pork, and they serve sausages in Green Bay that I was going to do it in favor of that, and I was picking the Packers. So I did pick the Packers.
All right.
Okay, it's
I'll
all right.
take your word for it.
Here we go. Week 2 in the National Football League now. Completely illogical selections without any question whatsoever. We are not picking against the spread. These are not spread picks. These are just straight out picks. Mike, let's go with the first 4 games, and I'll let you go ahead here. First of all, let's Jacksonville, Cincinnati.
Well, you know me. I'm a Bengals guy through and through. It's where, if you've never been to Cincinnati yet, and I think you have, not only do they have Skyline Chili, but they have Grater's ice cream, some of the best ice cream. They have they have these little convenience stores like 7-Elevens that sell ice cream. They're called United Dairy Farmers, UDF. Oh my God, this ice cream, it might be better than Grater's and it's cheap and you get a sundae at like a 7-Eleven. So at any rate, that's what Cincinnati because of the relatives thing. And I like Joe Burrow. And, you know, Trevor Lawrence had a nice week last week, but no, I'm going to go with the Bengals. The second game, the Giants.
Hang on a sec. One game at a time. We'll just do them real quick and bounce them here, so we'll get them all out. I am not want to pick Cincinnati because I can't stand Skyline Chili. I think it's awful. I've had it several times before.
Oh my God! Like you can't even come in our house.
I don't like the chili pies and all that. But Jacksonville has got absolutely nothing. That is a dead franchise right now that isn't going anywhere. Matter of fact, the only place they might go is London. So as much as it pains me, and I'm not a fan, I do have to go with you and also pick the Cincinnati Bengals. Next, Giants in Dallas. Go.
Dak Prescott is a proud man, and he can't go 0-2 after this season and what's happened with Micah Parsons leaving for Green Bay and everything. And you know, he hung in there in a game in which I thought Philadelphia did lose their best defensive player before the first snap, but I think the Cowboys are better than people think, and I'm going to take them over the Giants.
As much as I do not want to pick the Dallas Cowboys, because anytime the Dallas Cowboys lose, it is a good day. It is a good Sunday in the National Football League. The New York Giants, simply stated, I hate the Giants. I've never liked the Giants. And I explained this once before about a guy who drilled me with the Giants every single time and every single week when I worked at the network. And he was always telling me how great the Giants are. I will never root for the Giants. I can't root for the Cowboys. I don't know what to do here. So I guess I'll just pick the Cowboys. Okay.
Detroit Lions.
Chicago and Detroit. Go for it. That's a tough one.
Yeah, but the Bears laid an egg last week. They should have won that game, and there was no reason for the Vikings to come back like they did. The Bears looked good for a while, and while I don't have any faith in Detroit after them laying an egg in Green Bay in Week 1, they're at home. It'll be the first time they play a regular season game since their crushing playoff loss to the Commanders at home, and I think I still think Detroit's got a lot left. I'm going to go with Lions.
Okay, you're going to go the Lions, and just because I'm going to go ahead and be different, because I love Chicago and I love everything about them, and even though I don't think they're that good this year, and I think their quarterback is never going to be a great quarterback like they want, and simply put, Detroit is a nice city, but just to be different, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bears in an upset. LA and
All right.
Tennessee.
Well, I think you know where I'm going here. Steve Gorman, the drummer for the Black Crowes, is one of the great musicians of the last millennium, and he has one of the most amazing stories of all time. Like Warren Zevon, before Warren Zevon died, he basically had a bunch of musicians in his basement as he was dying of cancer, and he said, "I just want to have one last jam." Steve was among them. He tells the story, you're almost weeping. Anyway, you love this, a rock and roll guy. Steve Gorman loves the Tennessee Titans, and I'm going to take them to kick the Rams' ass because of that.
Okay. I also have to pick the Tennessee Titans because Cam Ward is there from the University of Miami. I think he is the future of the franchise. And not only that, but I love Nashville. I love Broadway. I have spent many an hour wandering down Broadway and going from bar to bar to bar and finding myself inebriated several times. I've enjoyed every single second of it. And the LA is just LA, and even though you're my friends out there, I'm going to go ahead and pick Tennessee as well. So we got both. God,
all right.
What's going on this week? It's not really good. Okay, next 4 games up on the card. I'm going to go first with this one on New England and Miami. This is a tough one because I lived in Boston for 4 years, loved it, but I grew up in Miami, moved there when I was 16. I've been there when the Dolphins were really good, and I was also there at the Super Bowl in '85 when Dan Marino got his one and only shot. And I know that it's a team that got a lot of talent, but I'm a Patriots guy more than anything else. I think Vrabel's going to get the Patriots to play a little bit better. I'm doing this on this game so much because part of me wants to pick the Dolphins. I'm going with the Patriots in an upset.
Dolphins are under immense pressure after laying an egg after Week 1, 33-6. The debacle, as you said. Everybody's up for inspection right now. This is a back up the truck situation. Coaching staff, players, everybody. If they don't start getting together soon, not later. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
It's a smart one. It's tough, but I just got to go ahead and be a little bit different here. San Francisco and New Orleans. Once again, because I love the city of New Orleans, I want them to do well. They're at home again, but I love San Francisco. See, here I've got New England, Miami, San Francisco, and New Orleans. Cities I love, cities I've lived in, cities that I have a lot of connections to, and because I had such a wonderful time in San Francisco recently, and I actually got to take care of one of my bucket lists. I had my picture taken at the intersection of Haight and Ashbury, and completely fell in love all over again with San Francisco. I'm going with the Niners.
All right, that's fine. Not to spread actual statistical things that matter in these games.
Oh my God, statistics.
I believe Brock Purdy, the starting quarterback for the Niners, is out with an injury, and I don't even know who the backup is. I just know that Kyle Shanahan is coaching them, and I don't, as you know, I have no love for the Shanahan family.
Kyle, yes.
So I'm gonna go for the Saints, crawfish pie, Commander's Palace, some of the most wonderful restaurants in the world. So yeah, Saints.
Man,
come marching.
This is a tough week. I think you're going to come up. I think you're going to do big against me this weekend. Yeah. Buffalo in New York against the Jets, without a question. I go with the Bills. Matter of fact, this one might be over by halftime, just because the Bills are so much better. And the Jets, I'll never root for the Jets. Ever.
The Jets look much better than they did against the Steelers than I thought they would. But yeah, after that incredible Monday night win by the Bills, I'm a Bills guy this year. Of course, I'm going to the Bills. All right, let's go.
Okay, Seattle at Pittsburgh. Had a great time in Seattle when I was there. Love the fish market. Love the people there as well. Pittsburgh, I have some great friends who are there who I've always helped to root for the Steelers at any time. And then now that Aaron Rodgers is there, I can't root for the Steelers. It's another one of those issues. I mean, Mike, I'm finding more teams I can't root for reasons. But I have to break it down here. I have to take the Steelers because I just don't think Seattle's got enough.
All right.
I hate rooting for Aaron Rodgers.
I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit because I'm going hard on the Seahawks this week. I think they're going to blow them out. I'm much more a big fan of Copper River salmon at Pike's Place than I am Pro Monte's sandwiches that they put fries on and salads like that. Pittsburgh's a good food town if you want an aortic valve replacement. Okay,
Yes.
shut up, Pittsburgh. All right,
And
so
I
I'm
will
going to go
say,
with the Seahawks.
and I will say that on a beer side of things, I hate Iron City. It's some of the worst beer I've ever had in my life. So, oh God, I don't know if I want to change my pick. It's just, this is crushing me. No,
Just stay with it.
I'll stick
You
where it
probably.
is.
I
Okay.
mean, you're going with your head. I'm going with my heart.
Yeah, well,
All right.
exactly. I'm trying to go with my head and my heart away. Cleveland, Baltimore, go.
I think the Browns are actually going to surprise the Ravens, who are just coming off the most depressing regular season loss. Again, giving up 15 points in like 4 minutes at the end. Lamar Jackson, I think Harbaugh is going to be in trouble before the season's over. I'm just tired of the Ravens. I don't believe in the Ravens. I just don't believe in them this year. So I'm going to go with the Browns.
Okay, I'm picking the Ravens because, again, like you said, with regard to the Dolphins having a bad first game, it's all hands on deck for the Ravens. They're much better, and I love the seafood down in the Inner Harbor. It's so much better. I have yet to find anything about Cleveland that I like gastronomically, so I have to go for Baltimore. Denver to Indianapolis, go.
I am going to go for the Colts, and not because the other people that work in the franchise enabled the death of the owner by concealing his drug use, but St. Elmo's is a very good restaurant. The cocktail shrimp there is some of the spiciest sauce I've ever had. It will clean out, the horseradish will clean out your nostrils more than ammonia. And so on the basis of St. Elmo's and Steak and Shake, I'm going to go with the Colts.
I'm going to go away from food on this one, and I'm going to say that I learned to ski in Breckenridge, and I love Denver, and I lived in Denver for 4 years, and it's still a place that I would like to live one day. As a matter of fact, when I die, just spread my ashes on the main run there at Breckenridge, and I'll be just fine on that one. I miss Denver horribly, and I got to root for my guys there, so I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. Carolina at Arizona, go.
Well, Carolina and Arizona. I mean, that's pretty.
Is there a game that you care less about this week?
I don't think so. I'm going to go Carolina just because that's where my sister-in-law lives. My niece, my nephew live there. My mother-in-law lives there. And God dang it, Cookout is one of the great fast food restaurants in America that should be franchised all over. It's barbecue. They have these shakes that are great. And the best thing, corn dogs. It's like you're at a country fair. I'm going to go the Panthers.
I was recently in Phoenix on an event, so I'm going to root for Arizona just for that reason, for no other reason, that they're home, and I was there, and I had a good time, and I had some great food there at the downtown Phoenix. I got to remember the name of that one restaurant that I was at. I can't. I'll get it next week for you. Okay, Philadelphia. So I'm going to go with Arizona. Philadelphia, Kansas City. Here's the big one.
It's a great game. I like the defending Super Bowl champions in a rematch of the Super Bowl, and I like Tay crying in the owner's box, and I like Travis Kelce getting just stuck by Jalen Carter and associates on the Philadelphia defense. They're going to. I mean, they're going to cream the Kansas City team this week. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to go with Philadelphia, but because you actually took a shot at Taylor Swift there, I'm so insulted at this point because she is because of the fact that Taylor and Travis Kelce are going to one day have children and they will rule the earth. They will be the people who will actually bring peace and love to this planet with their own inimitable fashion of ruling. So for that matter, and also because my godson is a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, and he's getting married next year, and I'm going to be there. I go with Kansas City this week to go ahead and win that. Atlanta, Minnesota.
Is that our last game?
No, we got Monday night games too.
Oh God, I got to get out of here, Ed. Minnesota. I like the Vikings, male cheerleaders, and I have a lot of friends in the Minneapolis area. Minneapolis, South Dakota area is a big place for me. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikes.
I'm going to go with Minnesota just because I think their uniforms are very cool. So go ahead and get to the Monday night games. Here we go. 2 games, Tampa Bay at Houston. Because I'm a Floridian guy, I am going to go with Tampa Bay on this one simply because I'd like to see the team from Florida win because I would rather see them win right now than the Miami Dolphins. So I'll pick Tampa Bay.
Not a big Houston Texans guy, but Houston's House of Pies. I can't even tell you, like the chocolate cream pie, the boysenberry. I mean, it's one of the great pie houses in America. And my son got a CJ Stroud jersey this week for his 15th birthday. His best friend Joaquin in Mexico is a huge Houston town. I'm going to go for the Texans.
Okay, go with the Texans. And finally, the LA Chargers. And again, I already talked about the fact I never get used to saying them as the LA Chargers. To me, they're always the San Diego Chargers. And the fact that I cannot stand anything that has Raiders black and gold in it or black and silver in it, whatever. I'm out. I will take the Chargers. And I almost said the Clippers there for a minute, but just because this will be an homage to all my friends in Los Angeles and all my actor friends as well, I will go with the Chargers this week.
I'm going Vegas, baby! Vegas! You ever see Swingers? Swingers is one of the great movies of the 90s. Yeah. So their trip to Vegas is just legendary. I don't know what it is. Something about the tinsel town, whatever's going on there. I'm going to take Vegas.
You just want to take Vegas because you want to go back there and you want to get back all that money you've lost over the years at the casinos. I know.
Yeah, you're right. That too, my friend.
So there you go. The NFL picks are all done. You got to get out of here. Okay.
Yeah, I got to take my little guy to his game.
Okay, take his little guy to the game. We'll do all that. We've had the NFL books. Don't forget to check us on YouTube at The Fastest Show in Sports. Any place you get your podcast, get The Fastest Show in Sports. Subscribe, and give it to 10 million of your favorite friends here, and we will love you for it. We trust you. We'll actually give you a real hug and embrace you. I'll give you a Vince Vaughn hug. For Mike Wise, I'm Ed Berliner. For everybody here, thanks for joining us on The Fastest Show in Sports. Until next time we get together, rock on, true believers. See ya.
Have a great weekend.
That's all, folks.